Welcome back to Plus One Biology, and today we are going to start a new chapter, Cell Cycle and Cell Division. And this is a very important chapter which gives the basics of mitosis, meiosis, like cell division. It's a very small chapter and it's very easy to learn. Okay, anyway, you have some basic previous knowledge. You know that our body is multicellular. That means it's made up of number of cells. Okay, and you know the cells can be divided to somatic cells and reproductive cells. So the cells which take part in reproduction, in the production of gametes, we can call reproductive cells, and all other cells of our body we can call what? Somatic cells. And you also know what is a diploid cell and what is a haploid cell. Okay, then our body, all cells are diploid with paired chromosomes. Okay, the chromosomes remain paired. In our body, 23 pairs of chromosomes diploid. Okay, and you know in the reproductive cells, gametes are produced, and in the gametes they have haploid chromosomes. The gametes are haploid. That means gametes contain unpaired chromosomes. That means just 23 only. A sperm has 23 chromosomes and ovum also has 23 chromosomes. These are basic ideas you have. Then anyway, you know our growth is achieved by what? The cell division of the somatic cells. So what are the events taking place in a cell to grow, to divide? That's what we are discussing today. First of all, understand what is a cell cycle. So what is a cell cycle? What happens to each and every cell in our body? We can call all the events taking place in a cell, we can call as cell cycle. That means the cell, its ultimate aim is to divide and increase in number. So in order to divide and give its content equally to the new cells, it has to multiply its content. Is it not? So when a cell is preparing for cell division, it has to double its DNA and its all other contents to give it equally to the daughter cells. So we can say there is a lot of preparations going on in a cell before cell division. So all these events taking place in a cell we can define as cell cycle. So it is defined as a sequence of events by which the cell undergoes DNA replication, doubling of its DNA, and prepare all the constituents required for the two daughter cells, okay, and eventually divides. That means the preparation site and division site of the cell, all events we can call as cell cycle. So what is the definition of cell cycle? The sequence of events by which a cell duplicates its genome, DNA replication, okay, and build all other constituents and eventually divides into two. That is what is cell cycle is. Okay, then let us discuss in detail what are the events in cell cycle with the help of this figure. Okay, and here I have shown a cell cycle. Okay, suppose one cell of our body, it has demonstrated in the lab and it takes approximately 24 hours to complete the cell cycle. Okay, suppose this cycle is of 24 hours. Okay, this 360 degree, this cyclic representation, this cycle is for 24 hours. If so, the cell division phase, okay, the time when the cell divides, the duration for cell division, that is here M phase. M phase is the cell division phase. This is just 1 hour. So understand, the duration of cell division is just 1 hour. If the cell cycle is of 24 hours, okay, 1 day, then the division phase, the time duration when one cell divides into two, the division exactly is for 1 hour, approximately 1 hour. Then what represents the remaining long duration? About 23 hours, what does cell do? That's question. Okay, about 23 hours it is in interphase. Okay, about just 1 hour it is in the M phase or division phase. What's the other long phase called? It is called interphase. Earlier it was defined as a resting phase, but it is not actually a resting phase. It's a phase where all the activities take place. Okay. Anyway, let us discuss in detail. The two major phases of cell cycle are what? M phase and interphase. Okay. Which is the major long phase? It is the interphase. Okay. And which is the cell division phase? It is noted as M phase. So, the details of the two phases of cell cycle. Okay. One, what is interphase, the longest phase, interphase. Then, second what? M phase, the cell division phase. Okay. The two phases of cell cycle. Then, just have this idea. Interphase is a long phase which is subdivided into G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. Keep in mind, the three phases of interphase are, the subphases of interphase are, what are they? G1 phase, gap 1 phase. Okay, gap 1 phase. Then second, synthesis phase, that is S phase. And third, G2 phase, gap 2 phase. And what are the major events taking place at this time? Okay, so the first phase, let us discuss G1. And during G1 phase, what happens is the cell growth occurs. The cell grow in its content. Mainly at this time, protein synthesis occurs. Protein and RNA synthesis occurs. Okay, so during G1 phase, keep in mind, the cell growth occurs by building more and more proteins. Okay, and RNAs are also synthesized during G1 phase. It is noted as gap 1 phase, expanded as. Okay, then the second phase, S phase, it is called the synthesis phase. What synthesis takes place here? It is DNA synthesis. That means DNA replication takes place at this time. The DNA replicate to what? Double the content. Okay, replication of DNA. So what happens during S phase? During S phase, DNA replication, DNA doubling or DNA synthesis, and also some proteins like histones are produced at this period. Okay, so anyway, the S phase is meant for DNA replication. Okay, I mean whatever is the initial content of DNA, as such is getting doubled during S phase. Whereas no change in the chromosome number. DNA content only double. Within the chromosome, DNA content is doubled. No increase in the chromosome number. No doubling of chromosome number. Okay. So anyway, that is what is S phase. We are going to discuss it in detail. Okay. Then it is in the M phase and in mitosis and meiosis we discuss what happened to the DNA content. Then in the G2 phase, gap 2 phase, we can see the same events. Cell growth continues. Again more synthesis of protein and RNA. Okay, so during G2 phase, cell growth continues and more proteins which are required for the M phase. Immediately what follows after G2 phases? M phase. Cell division require more and more proteins and enzymes. That all will be produced in the G2 phase. So understand G1 phase, cell growth and protein synthesis, RNA synthesis, and mostly the proteins required for S phase will be produced here itself. Okay, then S phase means DNA replication process takes place, doubling of the DNA and some of the protein synthesis. Then G2 phase means again further growth in cell and more synthesis of proteins. And especially the proteins required for this phase, the following phase will be synthesized there. Okay, easy I think. Then what is about the M phase? Okay, M phase is the cell division phase. Okay, the cell divides into two. Okay, till now what happened? The cell increased the content only. Okay, in G1S, G2 phase, the cell was preparing to divide. It doesn't divide into two. Instead, it accumulated the contents to give it equally to the daughter cells. So after this preparation, what happens? The cell divides. Okay, that phase is known as M phase. Okay, the normal type of cell division, you know, it's mitosis. And cell division which occurs in reproductive cells is what? Meiosis. We are going to discuss it in detail. Anyway, in the M phase, the cell division occurs. I think it's clear. Okay, then G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase, then cell division. And in the cell division phase, there are two major events. You know, it is karyokinesis, division of the nucleus and division of the cytoplasm. Okay, there are two major events in every cell division. Division of the nucleus is called what? Karyokinesis, nuclear division. Then this is division of the cytoplasm. Division of the cytoplasm. Okay, during cell division there occurs division of the nucleus, then division of the cytoplasm. Okay, cytoplasmic division. Okay, division of cytoplasm is known as what? Cytokinesis. Division of nucleus is known as what? Karyon means nucleus. Karyokinesis, you are familiar. Okay, and listen carefully here. In M phase, the karyokinesis is achieved by four major phases. The first one, prophase, familiar I think. The second phase, metaphase. Then the third phase, anaphase. And the fourth phase, telophase. What are these phases? These are the phases of karyokinesis. That means the division of the nucleus. Within a cell, the nucleus divides. Its chromosomes divides. Okay, will be shared. These all events take place by these four phases. It is completed by these four phases. I mean, the nuclear division, karyokinesis has four phases. Prophase, okay, prophase, then metaphase, then anaphase, then telophase. Okay, so I have just marked it here. The first phase, 1, is prophase. The second phase, I mean immediately after G2 phase, the first phase is, the 1 is prophase, 2 is metaphase, 3 is anaphase, and 4 is telophase. Okay, it will be, the telophase will be followed by cytokinesis, the next event. So, after telophase, the fourth phase, that is cytoplasmic division, represented here as C. C stands for cytokinesis. Okay, I think now all the labelings of this is clear. What happens in a cell cycle? The G1 stands for what? Gap to 1 phase. Then S stands for synthesis phase. G2 stands for what? It is gap 2 phase. Then 1 prophase, 2 metaphase, 3 anaphase, 4 telophase of division, karyokinesis of M phase. Okay, then M phase means not only karyokinesis, cytokinesis also. Then this one, C stands for the cytoplasmic division or cytokinesis. Any more thing to discuss? Yeah, just listen to the cycle again, all of you. Seriously, just listen, observe thoroughly. What is left to discuss there? Yeah, it is G0 phase. What is it? A G0 phase. What is a G0 phase? It is known as quiescent phase. The G0 phase is also known as quiescent phase. The G0 phase is also known as quiescent phase. Actually, the quiescent, the word is what is inactive, suppressed, like which has no any action. Okay, what is a G0 phase? What's your idea? It's a cyclic process. Okay, so you can easily understand what is G0 phase. Just understand, after cell division, okay, the cell produces 2 cells. Okay, if these cells are not further dividing, if this have matured and differentiated for the duty and these are not further dividing, that cells will be remaining in G0 phase. And if the cells are further dividing, actively dividing, it goes to G1 phase. So, after M phase, either G0 or G1 phase is followed. Okay, is it clear? So, the M phase, cytokinesis, is followed by G0 phase in a tissue where the cells are differentiated, again no more cell division. Whereas if the cells are meristematic or is further dividing tissue, actively dividing tissue, the cells after cytokinesis proceed to next G1 phase instead of G0. Okay, so either G0 or G1. Okay, so G0 is known as the quiescent phase, okay, where the cell is not further dividing. But it is metabolically active, it do all the functions of a cell, but it is not ready for further division. It has got differentiated. It is active in all metabolism, it performs its duties well, but it is not further dividing, means that cell is in G0 phase. Okay, otherwise it goes to G1 phase. Okay, so these are the major events in a cell cycle. And the longest phase is the interphase, subdivided to G1, S and G2. Okay, then the division phase is M phase with the karyokinesis and cytokinesis. And the G0 phase is the quiescent phase where the cells are metabolically active but are differentiated. It will not proceed to next G1 phase. Okay, that's about the cell cycle. If this is clear, we can move on to the cell division. So we will discuss the cell division. You know the two types of cell division are mitosis and meiosis. Okay, tell me what is the main difference between mitosis and meiosis? Studied earlier in 9th class. Okay, so a mitosis is a cell division which is an equational cell division in which two daughter cells are formed which are equal to the parent cell. That means the ploidy of the daughter cells in mitosis is same like that of parent cell. Understand, a diploid cell after mitosis, okay, will produce two diploid cells. This is what this mitosis is. It is called equational cell division because the ploidy is maintained same. Chromosome number is maintained same, 2n to n. For the daughter cells and parent cell, it is maintained same. Okay, so it is known as equational cell division. Also, a haploid cell, when it undergoes mitosis, a haploid cell also can undergo mitosis. If it undergoes mitosis, it produces two haploid cells. That means mitosis is equational. It produces similar daughter cells of same ploidy compared to parent cell. The chromosome number of the two daughter cells is same like the parent cell here also. So what is mitosis? Mitosis is equational cell division in which daughter cells ploidy is same, retained same like parent cell. And where it takes place? The mitosis takes place in all somatic cells or vegetative cells. Okay, so mitosis takes place in the somatic cells or vegetative cells. Then understand what is meiosis. What type of cell division is meiosis? Very easy to know. Okay, a meiosis is a cell division in which a diploid cell, only one diploid cell can undergo meiosis, not a haploid cell. One diploid cell produces what? Initially 2, then second meiosis means 4. 4 haploid cells. We will discuss it in step by step later. Okay, so in meiosis, what happens? One diploid cell produces 4 haploid cells. So we are calling this division as not equational but reductional cell division. Meiosis is a reductional cell division in which parent cell ploidy is reduced to half in the daughter cells. The ploidy, the chromosome number of the parent cell, is reduced to half in the daughter cells. That is what is meiosis. It is reductional division. It is taking place in reproductive cells, gamete forming cells. So where does the meiosis take place? Meiosis takes place in the gametic cells, gamete forming cells. Is it okay? Just familiarize these two cases. Mitosis, it takes place to all somatic cells in our body to achieve growth and or any sort of repair. Any injury means repair. All this is by mitosis. It's a type of cell division which is equational, where the parent cell chromosome number and daughter cell's chromosome number are same. Okay, whereas meiosis, it takes place in the reproductive cell. In a female, it takes place in the ovary. In a male, it takes place in the testis. There are definite cells, gamete mother cells. These undergo meiosis to produce what? Gametes. Gametes must be haploid, because when they fuse, we should get a diploid zygote. We will discuss it. Anyway, in the gamete mother cells, reductional division occurs, in which parent cell ploidy is, chromosome number is reduced to half in the progeny cells. So that cell division is known as meiosis. Its elaboration we do in the next classes. So in the next class, we will discuss mitosis. Okay. So study well. See you in the live session. Thank you.